Hey guys, Ravi here from Era FX and I welcome you to another After Effects tutorial. Let us first see what we're gonna create today. So this is electric logo reveal animation using Saber plugin from Video Copilot, which is absolutely free, all thanks to Andrew Kramer. You can check the link in the description to download it for free. This is a beginner's tutorial and let's get started. Let us first divide this tutorial into two steps. Step 1, making the background, and step 2, animating our logo. So in the first step, let us create a new composition. Let me name this to electric logo reveal and I set this to 1080p, around 6 seconds duration. Click OK. So in order to create a background, create a new solid like this. I name this to BG background and click OK. And from the effects and presets panel, type in 4-color gradient. So you have this effect and drag this onto a logo layer. I mean the background layer. So you have 4 colors here. So let me adjust something like this. I set the first color to blue, the second color to black, the third color to black as well, and the fourth color blue. Let me just adjust these two colors to left side and the right side corner so that we just have a slight blue color on our background. This looks good and we are okay with this. So in the next step, we'll have to animate our logo. So I have this logo layer and let me drag this onto my composition and let me just scale this like so. Looks good, the size looks good, and right click on this logo and recompose it. Let me name this to logo and click OK. So in the second step, in order to animate our logo, click on this toggle switches button. If you don't find this cube here to enable 3D layer, just enable it so that it becomes 3D layer. Expand this logo, even the transform, and set a keyframe at 1 second for the position like this, and move to the first frame and set this Z axis to -3000. So now if you have a look at this, our logo slides in from the Z axis like this. Hold shift on your keyboard, select both the keyframes, and from keyframe assistant set this to easy ease. Now if you click on this graph editor button, and if you don't find this graph here, right click and make sure that edit speed graph is checked, and click on one corner of the graph like this and move it something like this so that the graph looks the similar way that you see in the screen, and you see that the logo slides quickly into our composition like this. This looks good. Now what you have to do is select this logo layer and from edit, duplicate this layer, and as soon as your logo slides in, from the layer settings here, click on auto trace for the topmost logo layer and click OK with the default settings. So now After Effects auto traces your logo and creates a mask for each one of the segment in your logo. So now from the effects and presets panel, simply type in Saber from Video Copilot and drag this onto our topmost layer. So in order to have a clear understanding of our logo layers, let me set this to logo Saber blue. Okay, and select the preset to hardcore, right, and set the score size to 3. Looks good. And the glow intensity to around 25. Fair enough. So expand this render settings, and the first thing that you do is set this composition settings to transparent. Okay, so let me turn this to half so that it renders quickly. And from the customize core settings here, set this core type to layer masks. So now you see that these masks have our Saber effect applied. So click on U on the keyboard. Just good. So the next thing that you do for this layer is set this start offset to 100 at 1 second, and click on this timer button so that a keyframe is created, and move to around 3.5 seconds forward and set this value to 0. So you see that the Saber effect gets applied like this. Looks good. Now what you do is hold Ctrl and click and type D so that this Saber layer gets duplicated, and you can rename this to Saber red, because I'm turning this color to red like this. Click OK. So the next thing that you have to do is select your topmost Saber layer. In this case it is the red one, and go to the bottom. In the render settings you have this alpha mode, and turn this to enable masks. Alright, so the next thing that you do is simply drag your topmost logo layer to the right, something like around 1 second forward. And if you notice that as the blue Saber trails in, the red Saber starts following it after 1 second, the way you see in the video like this. Looks good. So now when the Saber effect is completed and covers our entire logo, let me set this to half so that you can have a clear look. When the Saber effect gets applied to the logo, select both your topmost logo layers and set this, and click on T on your keyboard such that the opacity is enabled, and click on this timer button here and move to around 2 frames, around 5 seconds, and set this value to 0. Now you see that the Saber effect simply fades into our original logo colors like this. Looks good to me. And the last thing that you have to do is simply add a tagline to your logo. Let me type in your tagline here. In order to apply a simple effect to the tagline as soon as our logo appears, expand this logo layer, and from animate click on scale. Add a property called scale and set this scale value to 0. Expand this range selector 1. Click on this timer button for start. Move around 1 second forward or few frames forward, and increase this value, start value, to 100 so that you have 2 keyframes here. And if you start playing it, you see that your text appears like this. Looks good to me, and our animation is done. So if you play this is how your animation is going to look. Saber is an amazing plugin with which you can do some crazy visual effects and motion graphics. And you can download this project file from my website irafx.net for free. And do check my Patreon account for some exclusive downloads. You can subscribe to my channel if you haven't done yet, and you can also follow me on Instagram at VFXGuyRavi. See you guys next time with another exciting tutorial.